You ready?
What up? This is Mr. Royce J. Royce Media coming at you guys with another video. We're gonna give it a minute or two to let people come in. When you come in, hit that like button, announce yourself, where you're from. I like to know how far out this video is getting and who's watching. Man, I tell you, it's quite a bit of news out there today, man. It's rough out there, boy. A lot is happening on the home front in the U.S. A lot of local news, a lot of news throughout the nation, and a lot of geopolitics is popping off. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit today, man, because there's some stuff going on, man, that I think is moving us closer to World War III. It is what it is. Um, I saw something. I actually saw it in the news a couple of days ago. Um, that some talks of preparation by NATO were occurring for a possible conflict. Um, these preparations. What I mean when I say preparations, what I mean is war exercises. Um, during my time in the military, I participated in some smaller training exercises that dealt with um, that dealt with preparing for warfare, and a lot of uh, a lot of what goes on is usually, I'll just say this, it's prepared years in advance. You know, you're not gonna the military is not gonna come at least at the level I was at. It's not gonna come right out and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing because we're getting ready for this." But when you're able to, once you've seen it, you always know what the signs are. You know, and the signs are they're pretty. Um, it's like certain stuff is hidden in plain sight. You know, you start seeing, newer equipment. You start seeing people going to more schools that were um, previously harder to get in. You start seeing, you know, those schools open up the enrollment inside of the military, and you start seeing people from the big indicators. You start seeing people from other branches and even other countries. you know, um, there's been schools that I attended where we would be in there with you know troops from other countries, such as African nations, certain European nations, so forth and so on. So um, you you see preparations once you know what the once you know what the signs are. You know, okay, all right, we're getting ready for something, and this is more than just your typical training. So yeah, yeah, I'm definitely seeing some stuff happening that I'm like, okay, all right, they fully intend on doing something. So it is what it is, man. Anyway, what do you guys got going today? What do you guys got going besides work and your daily tasks and stuff? How's everybody doing out there? Is everybody doing good? I hope so. I certainly hope so. I hope everybody is, um, you know, doing what they got to get done, making money, you know, uh, taking care of their families, stuff like that. And speaking to what I just previously talked about, do your due diligence and start getting ready. You know, start, setting aside stuff like water. I would say soap. With a lot of the preppers, which time to time I look in on the prepper stuff because I think, being prepared is, can't hurt anybody. But one of the things that I've seen a lot of preppers do is um, they like to go buy up a bunch of toilet paper. And I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's kind of a waste. you know, if you got soap and water, that will suffice, for what's going to happen, for what's going to possibly happen. Toilet paper should be the least of your concern. You need to stock up on stuff like beans, canned goods, uh, you know, seeds, uh, um, obviously water filtration devices, medicines like 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 aspirin, Tylenol, stuff like that. If you are a person that has medical needs like you're diabetic and stuff, you need to figure out your insulin situation, stuff like that. And that not just preparing, uh, getting supplies. You also need to get your bodies together. You know, if you got to lose weight, you know, if you're carrying around too much weight, then you need to start working on trying to lose it now. You know, one, because it will increase your survivability. Number two, it'll increase your mobility. And three, it'll decrease your need for certain medications and help you better manage certain medical conditions. You know, that's how I see it. Um, Also, you need to have certain escape plans and stuff, you know, for you, you know, for yourself and your family, just in case you need to get out of the area that you're in and get to another area. Um, which brings me to, uh, you know, what they're trying to do with the situation with electric cars and turning everything, you know, the push to so-called reduce the carbon footprint. If we get into a conflict and the conflict starts to make its way, make an incursion into the U.S., I don't see how power grids will be diligently and efficiently defended. That's just my personal opinion. I don't see it because, you know, for one, we're letting in a bunch of people into the US that we don't even know who these people are and where they come from. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I really don't see it. You know, I don't see how, you know, you'll be able to defend against most, let alone all, um, attacks on the power grid. So that's the thing that really concerns me. Um, yeah, that's something that really concerns me, and maybe I need to do more research to kind of get a better idea. But right now, I'm not really seeing it, man. You know, that's me just being honest. I don't really see it. You know, let me pull up this video from Valuetainment. Shout out to Valuetainment. I really like how Patrick Bet David runs his podcast. When I look at uh, podcasts that really, when I look at, you know, YouTube channels that really do good work, this is their channel is one of my top channels. I really like Patrick Bet David's interview style. I respect the fact that he is a U.S. military veteran. Um, I like his selection of guests and topics. I think that's a great podcast, and I would like to someday get to that point to rival a YouTube channel like the one that they run over there at Valuetainment. All right, what I'm going to do is what I want to do now is I want to pull up this video, show you guys this video from um, from their channel where they're talking about prepping. Actually, you know, I take that back. Before I do that, I want to show you guys actually one of the videos I was looking at earlier regarding this situation with what's going on with NATO and the exercises that they are conducting and will intend to conduct. Hold on, let me grab this video. So let me do this. Give me a few more seconds to do this, and then we'll take a look at it, and I'll give my thoughts about it because I think it's important, and I don't think we as U.S. citizens pay enough attention to what's happening here because we're bogged down with stuff like the impending 2024 election, the immigrant crisis, the uh, prosecution, the lawfare that's committed against former President Trump, celebrity gossip stuff, so forth and so on. So uh, I think we're missing a bigger picture, and it really has an influence on a whole lot of uh, other things that we're going to have to be dealing with in the near future. Let's take a
Travel deals and a shared savings program that
Not everything is going to be honky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
All right. So, all right, let's end this right here. So, this to me, when they start talking about doing stuff, when they start talking about it to the public, when they start having meetings like that, and they start uh, really letting the public know what it is they're intending to do, um, that lets me know that they've been intending on getting ready for this at least at minimum 3 years ago. 3 years, 3 years previously, they were already working on stuff like this. Um, and I don't want to get too far into details, um, but I know for a fact they were preparing for a possible Russian invasion into the Ukraine 3 years ago, back in 2020. You know, they were they were sending military personnel on deployments into the Ukraine and nearby Poland that normally wouldn't deploy. You have certain parts of the military that will deploy as far as you know um, working with ally nations and working what's called sustainment operations, and that's basically um, assisting allied nations and running certain operations. But then uh, you have combat forces and advisors to the decision makers as far as combat operations. And when you start seeing those people pop up, when you start seeing those people deploy, that is a sign that these people are, weighing options. That they are not only weighing options, but they're preparing for something big to happen. So, that's a big deal, man. That is a big deal. Um, let's look at let's actually take a look at some more stuff as far as the impending situation with what's going on with this situation with NATO and Russia and all of that stuff. Let me do this real quick. Shout out to Black Ram. I want to take a look at a video he did a few days ago where he actually talked about this impending situation that we're inching closer and closer to. I can't find this. Let me see, man. I can't find this Black Ram video, but Black Ram, who I think he does a great job in speaking on this stuff because he definitely follows it a lot because he's big on you know people being prepared for what could possibly be happening. Let me okay, I think I found it. So let me load this up. We could take a look at it, talk about it, because I definitely think this is worthy of talking about, of being talked about. So yeah, shout out again to the bro Black Ram. Like I said, I think he does a great job, you know, talking about these issues. So
14 states are supporting Texas in their stand against the federal Biden administration. All of them are mostly the South, including Texas. It's looking like history is repeating itself.
all right, let's stop right here for a second. This was something else that I was going to get into a little bit later, but it came up now. So let's talk about it a little bit. This is the secession movement of Texas, the rest of the U.S. And what this gentleman that's on this video that Black Ram put together, he's talking about basically Texas has the support of 14 states. Uh, Number one, against this whole against the immigration policy and even with a secession movement that they'll go. This guy he'll touch on a little bit in this video. Let's continue.
한국군사위원회 위원장 이병철 알았습니다.
열병부대 차렷! 열병 행진은 정대 단위로.
Pause for a second. Hey, them South Koreans ain't fought nobody, but they sure as hell look like they can whoop some ass, man. They be having, them military officials be having like 24 rolls of medals and ain't went nowhere. And none of them are old enough to have participated in conflicts back during the Korean War. So I don't know how it is, what goes into them earning their medals or what their medals for. It just looks crazy. I know on the U.S. side, particularly in the U.S. Army, you get a lot of medals for participation in different conflicts. You know, those are big ones, and also for you know whatever work you put in that the military felt was worthy of acknowledgement um, with an award. So I don't know what it is these South Koreans are doing, but man, they be looking ridiculous. Let's continue.
한 편세명 버리라.
Today, the members of the Science and Security Board moved the hands of the doomsday clock forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers in the war in Ukraine.
All right, this board that they just mentioned, these people basically deal with they research the likelihood of a nuclear conflict, and through their research they give assessments on the geopolitical what the geopolitical scene looks like, and uh, how what the likelihood of a nuclear conflict is at the present time. As we can see, they've moved the hands of the clock forward, and you know, I take that as a warning sign because these people are smarter than me. So let's continue.
We moved the clock forward the closest it has ever been to midnight. It is now 90 seconds to midnight.
Steadfast Defender 24 will be the largest NATO exercise in decades, with participation from approximately 90,000 forces from all 31 allies, plus our good partner, Sweden. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce the Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. This reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary.
All right, let's stop right here for a second. When they refer to near peer adversary, they're basically talking about Russia and China, and maybe even Iran. Let's continue.
Fast Defender 24 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other, to protect, of course, our values and the rules-based international order.
You need to have water, you need to have a radio on batteries, and you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be honky-dory in the next 20 years.
All right, let's stop right there. Okay, you see what this gentleman has just said. I agree with most of what he said. The thing about that I kind of disagree with a little bit is that he said not everything is plannable, which in itself is true. That being said, it's better to have a plan than no plan at all. Let's continue.
I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
All right, let's stop right here. This guy, the guy that was just speaking, he is a Russian official. Um, I don't know his name right now, but I do know. I'm sorry, I meant German. He's a German official, and I don't know his name right now. Forgive me for not being as prepared to talk about this, but I wanted to kind of talk about this off the cuff. But he's speaking more or less on behalf of the German perspective on these NATO operations and what they intend on doing uh, in the near future. Let's continue.
Leaked Classified documents from Germany reveal that world leaders are now preparing for Russia to launch World War III. They would expand the war on Ukraine by attacking NATO countries next year. Next year, there's a timetable here. Member of the House Armed Services Committee, Congressman.
Germany prepares for war with Russia. Recently, the German media published an article. German Ministry of Defense is ready to go to war with Russia after the failure of the Ukrainian armed forces. Germany.
All right, let's stop right here for a second. I'm gonna tell you something about Germany. I don't think, as far as Germany being an ally with the U.S., I I have my doubts. I think ultimately Germany is going to side with the winner. That's my personal opinion. That's not the opinion of Black Ram or you know, the news media that did the story, or even this content creator from TikTok that put the video together that Black Ram sourced. It is my personal opinion that Germany is going to uh, look out for its own best interests and will side for and will side with whichever side it views to be stronger. Let's continue.
Is preparing for a war between NATO and Russia, according to the scenario of the German Ministry of Defense. This war could begin in the summer of 2025, according
Black Ram 313 with a behind the veil type of video. Man,
Let's stop for a second. This is Black Ram. He has two channels. He has Black Ram 313 and he has the Real Pill podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, if you haven't already checked out his material and subscribed, please go do so. Shout out to my brother from the West Side, Black Ram. Let's continue. He drops a lot of good information. Let's continue.
brothers, as well as you ninjas, I understand that we're in a constant state of disbelief. You get desensitized to what happens on the media. So what's happening all throughout the world, the Middle East and Asian nations and Ukraine, Russia, all of this build up for WW3, we get desensitized a little bit and we're not really keying in on exactly the time that we're living in. What did Jesus or Yeshua say? That you can discern the face of the sky, but you can't discern the times. Well, the time that it appears that we're living in, quite obviously to me, is that we're about to go to World War III. Now, I don't like to be old.
I agree, Black Ram. We see it the same. Let's continue.
Gloom and doom, gloomy gang in the building. However, being aware is to be alive, and being aware is about the real pill, man. And I just don't feel good about this one, especially since most people are distracted with entertainment and not really understanding or even conversing about the seriousness of the hour that we're in. We have military engagements all over the world that at any moment could kick off.
Hey, what did I talk about a few days ago? Did I not talk about the proxy wars that were the proxy wars that were happening? And usually, you know, with proxy wars, that's another indicator to larger conflicts. It's like a precursor to larger conflicts. Let's continue.
Something that there's no turning back from or any recovery from. Let that sink in for a minute. So recently, the group of atomic scientists met and said, hey, we've been doing this for quite a number of years, and now we set the doomsday clock at a minute and a half, 90 seconds toward midnight because of what's going on in Ukraine. And
all right, real quick, a poll was done in Russia. this was a poll that was released by Russian media, which said that a poll was done, uh, among Russians in Russia, to gauge their thoughts of the job that Putin is doing uh, with this war effort against Ukraine. And according to the poll, and this is not me, this is the information that I saw. It was 8 out of 10 Russians approved of the job that Putin was doing. That's interesting because if they did a poll in the U.S., I don't think our current administration and our current president would have those same numbers. Let's continue.
We haven't even seen China make moves yet. We see what Iran and Pakistan has been going through. We see.
Oh, let's stop. Let's stop right there. Yeah, we haven't the news. Any information about China and what China is doing has been pretty sparse. I know that they increased the size of their navy like by 5, and the Chinese didn't really have a navy, and that's kind of what they were using the Russians for. But now they have a Chinese navy, and they, like I said, they increased the size of the Chinese navy by 5. So that's significant, and that's that lets you know they're gearing up for something. Outside of that, I haven't heard a whole lot of news about what China is doing to what steps China is taking towards a possible conflict with its perceived enemies. Another thing, you know, even though the information about China is sparse, I do know about their initiative of creating I think it was 1 million engineers, which they were successful in doing. And if you know anything about warfare, a big part of warfare, a lot of people think warfare is the infantry and the other combat forces. Really, warfare is largely about intelligence and the engineers who work in tandem to lay out, to assess the situation, to lay out the plans for battle and why, and to shape the battlefield. Let's continue.
What's happening in the Middle East. We see all of these things. We see what's happening in our own backyard in Venezuela. We see what's happening in Ecuador. The world is truly in an upheaval, and alliances are being made. And I think this is the season where we'll go to WW3. NATO chief says, hey, you need to start preparing food and water 36 hours. Yeah. Well, 36 hours won't be enough. He's telling the NATO members, which includes the USA, to get prepared. Now, that is your sign right there. The media, they, of course, they wouldn't want to panic you, would they? Of course not.
All right, let's stop right here. Think about 36 hours. What is 36 hours? 36 hours is a day and a half. If it all hit the fan, if shit hit the fan, 36 hours is not enough time to resolve large scale calamities, in my opinion. If they're telling you 36 hours, I would say 90 days. To be honest, just to be honest, on the short end 30, on the long end 90. I would honestly just go with 90 because a lot can happen in 30 days, let alone 90 days. Let's continue.
Keep it on the low. 36 hours of food you need to get. When they say 36 hours, I'm thinking more like 36 months, 42 months, 54 months as this thing spirals out of control. Are you being warned? Oh, yeah, I know you like to talk about this and talk about that and deny the words that I'm saying. I know you like that. But are you playing yourself? Is this your warning? Is this my warning? Is this our warning to get yourself together, to get your stuff situated, sorted out? Whatever that might look like for you, preparations for what's coming. Hugging mom and dad if you are blessed enough to have them still. Spending time with your family, daughter, son, auntie, uncle, nephew, nieces. Love.
Let's stop right here. So far I agree with everything Black Ram said. The thing with 36 months and stuff, 36, 42 months. Hey, if you can do it, I agree. The thing about it is I don't know if the majority of US citizens have the wherewithal, the resources, and the time to actually prepare that far out or for that long of a trouble situation. So, you know, I think we got to really do some sitting down and trying to figure some stuff out. Let's continue.
Loved ones, spouses, brother, sister. Is it time to get on that phone and talk to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time and say, hey, I still care about you? Is it go time? Germany is prepared. UK is prepared. Russia's prepared. But Americans, well, as long as they're football and basketball, the Kardashians and the celebrities, we seem to be just fine. Or is that the trap? Oh, Ram, distraction from this, distraction from that. No, sir. The real distraction is the entertainment that us as Americans have an obsession with.
Facts. Facts. We are so concerned about entertainers that we're not focusing enough. Too many of us are not focusing on survival. We know more about what Kanye West said or Jay-Z or Chelsea Handler or somebody. The people that are ultimately unimportant in our day-to-day lives, we know more about them than we do about survival skills. I tell you this much, big cities, urban areas are going to be in trouble. Let's continue.
Beyonce likes ketchup is what we care about. Oh, what did Kevin Hart say? Oh, what did Cat Williams say? Oh, what did Steve Harvey do? What did Steve Harvey say? Oh, this and that and the other. Celebrity worship. Meanwhile, the world is prepared for war. And again, listen, I'm not saying I don't look and talk about celebrity stuff. That's so I can be distracted from all the other things that I'm thinking about during the day. But the balance here, because I'm not saying don't listen to the entertainment, the balance here is, what are you doing?
I think that's a big thing too. I think Black Ram said something that was key to understanding us as U.S. citizens and distractions. I think we allow ourselves to be distracted basically to escape from all of the other stuff that worry us. And so I think he did a good job of explaining this situation within himself. Let's continue.
Where's your beans? Where's your rice? Where's your self-protection device? Hey, that rhymes. Where's your beans? Where's your rice? Where's your self-protection device? Black Ram always dropping bars, man.
You know what? That was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, you need to be able to defend yourself. You need to not only have the tools to do so, you need to have the know-how, and you need to have them within easy access for yourself. You need that training. You need the, you need to, you really need to have a plan B with that stuff as well. Let's continue.
Always rhyming. But consider the seriousness of the hour, because we may be going into the shock of the hour. Now, I'm not no pastor, prophet, teacher. I don't have an organization. I'm not a religious man. But I have to recount this story because it's so potent to me, and maybe it might mean something to you. I don't know. But I'm going to share this, I think, one last time, unless I'm on the live stream and it comes up. But I think it's appropriate here. And I'm not trying to give myself credit.
Hey, where Black Ram get them Halloween graphics, man? I'm jealous. I'm hating. I want something like that, man. Oh, yo. Let's continue.
And I'm not trying to push any agenda to make you think that I'm something when I'm not. I'm just a ninja from the west side of Chicago. Before Russia went into Ukraine, I had some serious thoughts.
All right. We're going to end that here and go back to the main screen. But yeah, man. Shout out to Black Ram for putting that video together, man. I agree. What up, Mike Reed? What up, Extended Clips? My mic is low. Is that better? Is that better? Can y'all hear me? Hey, if the mic sounds better, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat for me so I can know if the volume is better on that mic. I don't know. Um, Let me know something though. So if not, I could fix that. So yeah, man. But what about this? You know what? Let me do this. What about this? Is that better? Is that better? Ain't that better? That's better. Hold on. Let me make sure. Because I don't want that reverb. So what about that? Is that better? Let me see what y'all got to say. Is that better? Okay. Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, I agree with everything Black Ram said on that particular video. I think he did a great job, talking about it. Go check out that video on his Real Pill podcast. Um, I think stuff like this I'll probably talk about more because I think we need to be aware. I know I need to be aware of this stuff. I think I need to stay abreast of what's going on because I have a son who is of military age. I have nephews who are of military age. I myself being a military retiree, you know, it's kind of important for me to watch that stuff because um, it's going to call into uh, effect certain other things. You know, and on the bad side, uh, you know, shit hits the fan. On the good side, chaos is a ladder. The truth is what it is. Shout out to Littlefinger. So um, yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. That situation in Pakistan, in India, that's that's not over. Not by any means. That's not over. We're going to see more from that Pakistan Iran situation. The situation with Israel and Palestine, that's an ongoing situation. And we are going to see most likely uh, an escalation ultimately in what's going on over there, especially because you have Iran really fighting a proxy war against Israel. And, you got Israel doing some, very questionable stuff regarding that situation. And, some of it is legit, some of it is, propaganda on the Palestinian and Iranian side. Ultimately, you would have to be boots on the ground and in the places where the people who matter are actually talking to kind of learn to get more accurate information regarding that. So, we ultimately we can only access the sources we can, and this is why I push looking at news media outlets outside of the mainstream media that we have here in the U.S. As I mentioned before, a lot of times I'll look at the news from Al Jazeera. I'll look at the news from India, other places, in order to have a better developed idea of what's already being put out by mainstream media in the U.S. and in the UK, so forth and so on. Extended Clip says the era of the proxies. Facts, facts. You know, um, we're going to see more proxy wars occurring, and they're going to get larger until bam, the big show is in our face and we can't ignore it. So it is what it is, man. So yeah, man. Oh, hey, no, that was Akron. That was Akron. Zippy. He ain't here. I wanted to give him a shout out though. But yeah, man. This is what's going on. Uh, let's take a look at. I was looking at a video earlier by Valuetainment. I spoke on Valuetainment earlier about you know about the information that they put out, and the video I was watching by Valuetainment was about doomsday prepping uh, for possible and impending disasters. I like I said, I think they do a great job. I think they do a great job in what it is they do over there in Valuetainment, and I would like to someday have a podcast to rival what it is that they're doing. Let me load this video that they did on the Valuetainment channel, and we can watch it, go through it. I'll give I'll give my commentary on it, give my opinion. Let's go. Yeah, excuse the ads. Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Can y'all hear it? I can't hear this video, man. Okay. What's going on? Let me stop this video. Find out what's going on. So I can't hear that one. Hmm. Let's see. Y'all hear that video? Man, I don't know what's going on with that video, man. I don't have any volume from that one. So, wondering what's going on with that video. Hey man, sometimes OBS be tripping, man. Let me see something. Still nothing. All right, let me try this. Try it again. That's still nothing. Man, I don't know what's going on with that. Man, that's not good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, man. Like I said, man, sometimes OBS, man, OBS is temperamental. You know, I don't know what's going on with OBS, man. Sometimes let me get back to my main screen. You know, sometimes with OBS, you got to log in and come back out. You know, so OBS be tripping, man. So anyway, but he was talking about these different bunkers that the people of means have been buying. How they have radiation barriers and impact barriers, and you know how you know they're buying uh, bunkers that can hold up to 75 people, and all the amenities in these bunkers like movie theaters, uh, so forth and so on, which is crazy. These people, they got the money to dig in for the long haul, so it is what it is. I wish I had that kind of money. Unfortunately, I don't. you know. Um, so I can't do that. You know, all I can do for myself, if the situation happens and me and mine survive, all I can do is use the survival skills uh, that I've already learned. And, hopefully I can learn some new ones before shit hits the fan, you know. And speaking of which, survival skills and prepping and stuff, there's a lot of criticism from what we call liberals and those on the left of people um, who are preppers and survivalists and stuff. They call these people paranoid. And, they have a lot of negative stuff to say, which I don't understand because it makes sense for anyone to be prepared. You're not going to have, you know, the government taking care of people if the government shuts down. If society shuts down, the government shuts down, then what? What is your next move? And this is why I said that urban areas are really in trouble, man. And especially so with a lot of the people that we have nowadays, because they don't they are expert consumers. They don't have the skills to do. Most people don't have the skills to do um, the things that they need to survive um, on a basic level without help. You got women who think cooking is oppression. What are they going to do if they're in a situation where they can't go to a restaurant or go to a grocery store? What are they going to do? Is cooking a pressure then? You have a lot of young men who don't know how to repair stuff around their houses, let alone build basic structures. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to dress food, dress whatever it is uh, that they that they kill. They don't know how to fish. They don't have any of the skills needed to make a way in a catastrophic situation. What are these people going to do? Especially these people in like I said, urban areas. Urban areas will not be safe. In fact, with how the infrastructure is set up, that is some of the easiest stuff to shut down, man. And that, what do you do when the infrastructure is shut down? You know, what what does the average person do? And I don't think that question has been asked enough. Okay, yeah, you can go out and you can rob other people and take what they have, but you run the risk of you know um, catching a bad consequence. You run the risk of catching the ultimate L. you know so yeah, you have that. You have that situation. um you because you don't have people with the skills to survive in urban areas like that. When the power is shut off, the water is shut off, when the infrastructure is shut off, uh, how do you organize to protect yourself and the people around you? You know, a lot of them don't have it. Everybody wants to be a rugged maverick. That's the time people need each other the most. you know, um, so a lot of people gonna be in trouble, man. A lot of people that survived the initial catastrophe are going to be in trouble from in the resulting vibrations from an initial disaster. So yeah, that's stuff we got to think about, man. That's stuff we got to think about, and I don't think we do enough. Like Black Brown was saying, people more concerned about Beyonce liking ketchup than they are what am I going to do if the world shuts down tomorrow. That's that one thing about that movie that the Obamas were involved in, uh, that Leave the World Behind. I mean, I have my opinions about the Obama administration, uh, and a lot of his views now that I know them a lot better. Um, I, you know, not a fan, but at the same time, I think that movie did. Uh, I think that movie encouraged a lot of conversation. I think it forced people to start thinking about what would happen if the grid shut down. Like I said earlier, I don't. I am of the belief that you cannot completely and efficiently protect the grid. And they want to put everything on the grid. They want to put as much stuff on the grid as possible. I think that's a bad idea. I think uh, we're still going to need, in order to move about and to do certain stuff after a calamity, you're going to need gas powered vehicles. You're going to need gas powered machinery, you know. And when you put everything on the grid, number one, you don't know when the grid is going to come back up. You don't know um, how much of it that they can fix and how fast. There's a lot of stuff that uh, there's a lot of questions and for me, not enough answers. And like I said before, maybe I need to educate myself on it more, but I don't see um, I don't see a whole lot of efficiency on that side if a disaster happens. You know, so I know in the military we used to have drills for if uh, the power grid shut down, how we can communicate with other units and stuff, and how we can relay information. And that was all analog. That was all pen and paper, basically. Um, I don't know if the general public um, would be able to function the same, because the truth is most people aren't ready for that. They're just going to move forward in whatever's being put out there for them. They're going to move forward and assimilate to that, rather than look at what worked in the past and how they can bring it forward. So and I think that is true with you know the grid and digital information, and stuff like that. A lot of people are not going to be able to function. You got adults out here who cannot drive a stick shift vehicle. Yeah. I mean, you see a man, it's crazy. Extended Cliff says you see the wealthy who collect so-called collectors cars as a way to have value stored and a backup source for transportation at the same time. Facts. Facts. Yeah. Yeah. You know, um, that's definitely true. You know, I can't argue with that, not one bit. And there's certain other things. Like I said before, you have your leftists and your modern people. They make fun of preppers and people who want to do stuff the hard scrabble way, survivalists and preppers and stuff. But these people have the skill to do something if things go bad. And I think it would be ridiculous to not look at what they're uh, what they're doing and seeing where you could do the same to your benefit. I think people get caught up in the political argument so much to the point that they can't look at the actual skill set. And even on the even on the right, they have their issues as well. They don't look at certain things that the left is doing, and they look at the ideology rather than looking at the operations and seeing how they could use the operations for their own exploitation. You know, um, they don't look at the operations to see how they could benefit from doing the motions, the actions. So yeah, but man, um, it's definitely going to be interesting, man. It's definitely going to be a hot mess, as well. So let me do this with this camera, man. I just really realized what's going on with this camera. Hold on a second, man. I don't like that. Let's do this. That's better. Ain't that better? That's better. Ain't that better? That's better. You know, man, you got people, man, out here who, you know, even when you look at a situation like diet, you got people out here, man, who refuse to eat natural food and to drink water. What are they going to do if everything falls apart? You know, Man, it's I'm telling you, there's a lot to think about, man, and it will weigh heavy on your head if you let it. So, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is something we actually should probably talk about more. I certainly will. You know, do more research and stuff like that. As you all, as you guys might know, you know, I got a compound bow, and I like to go shoot my compound bow for purposes of target shooting, but also for hunting. I know how to track. I know how to do, you know, basic field dressing. You know, I have some basic survival skills, and I do know how to, I know how to fish. I know how to hunt. Stuff like that. Um, and hopefully, um, if 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 the worst case scenario happens, hopefully I can be able to put those skills to use to effectively survive, keep my family alive, and to be able to feed them. You know, but a lot of guys don't. It used to be back in the day, especially if you talk to guys from the South. Their dads took them hunting and fishing. If they had relatives from the country, they learned how to hunt and fish. Even when you talk with you know Central Americans and stuff like that. Men, that was a part of being a man. You learned how to hunt, you learned how to fish, you learned how to live out in the elements if you had to. Even though it was like, hunting trips, camping trips, so forth and so on, you still learned how to be out, be outdoors. You don't see as much of that nowadays. A lot of these guys don't, and a lot of the guys that did learn that stuff, they don't do it as adults, and they're certainly not teaching their kids. And that's concerning because that stuff might come in handy. It might mean the difference between life or death. You know, um, and the better you're able to do it without a lot of equipment, the better your chances are of survival. And that's the thing. Even on the military side, you're taught to survive with equipment. Your conventional troop in the U.S. Armed Forces are taught to survive with equipment. They're taught to use equipment to survive. There may be instances though where you don't have access to equipment. Now your tier ones, tier two, tier three, uh, special operations people, they are taught that. They're taught some of those skills. But your average troop, um, they don't know nothing about that. Every time they get on one of them survival shows, they be like the first people to tap out. So yeah. Hey, Extended Clip says fly fishing would be a great tool. Yeah, yeah, fly fishing, fly fishing is an art form in itself. You got people that can't even bait fish. They don't know they don't know uh they don't understand bait fishing. They don't understand what to catch, how to dress it, stuff like that. How to prepare it to eat, Um you got a lot of people that don't know a lot. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know. That's really something we got to consider, man. We got to get on top of our survival game, our prep game, stuff like that, man. We don't know exactly what the future is going to bring, but we need to prepare for the worst case scenario. You know. So, all right, guys, I'm about to shut this one down. I got some stuff to do around the house, and I may come back later. I always say that, but man, by the time 8 o'clock hit, I'll be tired, man. Man, I get through doing all my runs and eating, spending time with my wife and stuff. I be tired, man. you know, and stuff. And you know what? And most of y'all be tired too, man. You know, doing the same thing. And I know a lot of y'all be out here eating butt biscuits at a certain time at night. You know, after 9 o'clock, y'all around here eating booty biscuits. I know that's what y'all do. Around here eating the groceries. So, hey, listen, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. I'll talk to you. I might come back later. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. This is Royce J of Royce Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Get in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.